Well, we are officially live. Welcome, everybody. The gang's all here to talk about California by Design, our summer courses here at New School of Architecture and Design. My name is Teresa Vodolato, and I'm one of the enrollment specialists here on campus. My job is to assist with any questions that prospective students have while they research. I also give tours, and I'll help you with every step to apply if you do become interested in these courses. I would like to introduce, much more importantly, the people to my left. We have Bruce Mathis, who is the Chair of Integrative Studies here at New School. I'll give him some time to introduce himself more appropriately. And further on, we have Dario Midicocchio and Elena Pacenti. Dario is our Assistant Professor of the Design Programs here at New School, and Elena is the Dean and Chair of the Domus Academy programs, our design programs here. So much we can talk about. I had mentioned a few moments ago that if you're just coming in and you think of any questions at any point during our talk here, please type away. We will have a really nice Q&A session at the end. Right before that, we're going to talk about pricing. There's an industry discount we can mention, and we will talk about the application guidelines. So I'm going to give the floor to you three. Please enjoy. Speak with you soon.
Hello, everybody. My name is Elena Pacenti. Like Teresa said, I am the Dean of the School of Design at New School. I'll give you a very brief introduction about the school for those students, international students, who are not, of course, our students here on campus. We saw that some of our students are connected to this webinar too, so just take a coffee while I present the school to the other ones. So we are located into, so first of all, we are introducing this summer program that is part of our offering. And for this summer, so starting August 14 until August 24th for the international students taking the summer program. And it's going to last additional 3 weeks for our degree-seeking students taking the class for credits within their program. New School of Architecture and Design is located in San Diego, California. And we are very lucky and glad to have our president, Marvin Maleka, as one of the most expert people in the world about architecture and design, has been Dean of Design and Architecture for several years in very important institutions. And he joined us 1.5 years ago, and is running the school with a passion in design thinking, and he gave us a very, very much energy so far, also to promote these design programs, such the ones that we are promoting today. The mission of the school is the mission of the school is to nurture and inspire design-minded students. New School was born as with degrees in architecture, in architecture undergrad and graduate and construction management programs. And we started the School of Design some years ago that includes nowadays product, media, and interiors. So we have 3 full running programs in the design department. The philosophy is pretty, if we have to summarize the philosophy of the school, is that it's really rooted into the design practice, design thinking, but we prepare for professional practice. So the main characteristic of all the programs is that they are heavily project-based. So the students at New School, whatever programs they are in, they learn by designing all the time. So from the simpler problems to the more complex problems, to interdisciplinary problems, and to all kinds of design brief that we get and form together with the industry. Indeed, one of our characteristics is that we are very much connected to the industry. So when we say that we prepare for profession, that means that we really involve industry and design firms in the school activity so that the students are exposed to how design professionals work and what the industry real design problems are before finishing the school. We are located in downtown San Diego. That is a pretty lively environment right now. San Diego is in a huge development as a city and is growing fast. And as you can see, we have a kind of skyline that might change in the next months. If we take this picture in a few months, we might have a new buildings popping up there. And we are in a particular area of downtown that is called East Village. And the East Village is one of the most evolving area in downtown San Diego. And it's very particular because it's where all the design and artists and ideas industries are located right now. So it's where you see a lot of constructions going on. It's a huge development in this area, but also a lot of creative places and important design firms all around in these few blocks of this area. So New School is located in this village, close to the Makers Quarter, close to a new building that is growing across the street that is called Idea One, the Idea District, and close to a lot of design firms, agencies, and important studios all around. We are also close to Petco Park, to the new library, so we are really in the heart of the city. With that said, I would like to go to the subject of today, so to really present what is our 2 weeks experience with us. So we will focus on the 2 weeks experience called California by Design, and I will let Bruce introduce what we have thought for you as a great experience for the summer here.
Thanks, Elena. I just want to say welcome to everyone that's jumped in on the web to hear about our class. We're really excited. We're fortunate that as a small design school and having some of the leaders that you've already heard from or seen a picture of Marvin, our president, that we have the freedom to do some things that are very interesting, fun, kind of have a cool connection as well. We decided that since California, the place is the home of and birthplace of so much culture and so much innovative design, that we wanted to bring a studio that would create a studio that would bring it all together. So we're looking at how unique California is in terms of the landscape and the vast mountains and beaches that we have, in terms of the architecture and history design, in terms of the people and the culture that gets marketed out. People want to know, what is that California lifestyle? As we started researching it, we realized there's so many different entrepreneurs and engineers and designers from the California culture that design so many different products. You're seeing a picture, obviously, of surfing. That's actually some of our students that we're learning about surfing in our Evolution of Surfing class. And it's interesting to find out, well, the wetsuit was designed here. Well, the surfboard's been around for thousands of years and designed all over, but many of the innovations came from California. They came from the military, they came from aeronautics, they came from researchers, they came from people designing and researching innovative products to have that lifestyle. And even our own school is located in the old Hang 10, and not all of you guys know what that is, but it's one of the first clothing lines in surfing. And then there's other products that evolved right out of San Diego and all along the California coastline. So we created a studio to bring together what we call integrative studies, to have sociologists and history teachers, literature teachers, people looking at philosophy, come in and work with the designers in the studio to see how all of that integrates. And so that was kind of the idea of California by Design, is how did all these industries innovate within California. Even this picture up here of Ocean Beach of a local surfer, that wetsuit is designed by Matus right up the street, and Del Mar, it's one of my friends, good buddies that he surfs with all the time. The surfboard is made by a local shaper right out there. And so if you take a snapshot along the California coastline of products, of places, of people, oftentimes you're going to be taking and identifying products and industries that are all from California. So it's a really great place to study it. And so I was working with a lot of the other faculty here, and I was like, okay, we have a class on surfing and bicycle, but how do we put it all together? How could the integrative kind of history and culture work with designers, actual design instructors and professionals? You know, Dario and Elena both have experience bringing in companies with the surf industry right into their studio. So that's how we came with California by Design, to give you that experience. Dario is going to tell you a little bit about how the class will be formatted.
Yeah, so welcome everybody. I think that this class is it's unique in the sense that it gives you a taste of what designing means and, you know, all the different steps in the design activities, but with a very deep basically dose of culture and knowledge that Bruce was alluding to. California is such a rich land in terms of, you know, the beautiful scenery, of course, which encourages outdoor activities, which has been the engine of all the innovation in action sports. You have high tech, you know, both in the Bay Area and in our region, more focused on military and medical application, but very intense scientific research and technical application. So you have a combination of intense lifestyle and intense industry that basically creates the perfect context for innovation. That is what California is known for. So with the help of Bruce's network, we're gonna bring on board people illustrating different concepts from various disciplines that have an impact on design activities. And then we're gonna walk you through the steps. So there's going to be a stage of learning and understanding better the culture of the place and what the different elements of this context contribute to the creation of innovative solutions. Then we're going to walk you through a series of activities to practice basically applying what you learn in this visiting lectures or field trips to generate ideas. And then the goal is that at the end of this course, you basically have a concept for innovation that you can present. And then after this, we're going to have our degree-seeking student that will go on and actually develop them. But I think it's going to be a very exciting format, because we basically were integrating the experience that you get from a summer program when you're going someplace. Sure, you want to learn something, but you also want to learn about the place that you're going to. We're kind of putting it all together, and you'll be learning about this place, and you'll be experiencing San Diego as you learn about design in this specific content with this specific flavor that Southern California can offer. We're gonna have a combination of, like I said, lectures, visiting lecture. We're going to have hands-on workshops. We're going to have field trips, special events too. I mean, the summer is pretty full with activities around here. So,
if anyone wants to learn how to surf, we also do a professional surf lesson with a local group called Ocean Experience. They're the oldest surf school in San Diego, and it's a personal friend of mine, Roger Codwell, that owns that company.
Yeah. And, you know, like Bruce was saying, our students that are here year-round are very familiar with the model that we use. Our school is very much built on the idea that you learn by doing. We're not just, you know, theoretical. We like to do stuff. We like to get our hands dirty. And we like to do it in a situation that is as close to real as possible. So we always invite local companies to be the clients in our studios, and our students get a first exposure to the client relationship dynamic, which is key in your profession. The image that you're seeing now on screen is actually a project that was brought in by one of our instructors, and this project was for Quicksilver, was a resort for Quicksilver. And so the students had to learn, again, about the surfing culture. Obviously, Bruce was instrumental in having them learn. And then they created this beautiful design for this Quicksilver resort. So that's an example of the kind of activities we like to do. because the lifestyle space covers so many things, this gives you an idea, gives you an opportunity to practice design touching many of the different aspects of design. So you can work on brand expression, you can work on retail design, you can work on something a little more elaborate and experience driven, and so on and so forth. So the beauty of this studio is that by its very nature has a lot of diversity built in, and based on what your specific interests are, you can find your way to navigate through it and get something out of it. So I think that's the biggest, in my mind, that's the biggest value that the studio has, is because of this richness. It allows you to create a tailored experience for your specific interest, but at the same time, as part of a bigger group that works on a number of topics, and you get exposed to all of them. Because let's be honest, designers thrive by communicating with other designers and with other disciplines. We're interdisciplinary by nature. So I think that this class is perfect in the sense that it allows to create connection with other disciplines and other bodies of knowledge.
I agree. You know, California is such a context. We kind of joke sometimes and say, you know, it's not just a place, it's kind of a way of thinking, a way of design thinking, a way of being, you know, and California being the 6th largest economy in the world now, and the action sports, surfing, design, you put in the tech industry, you know, all what's going up and on in the Bay Area and Silicon Valley, a lot of those billions of dollars come from the specific innovation of California design. And that's kind of the context and the reason we thought it'd be a really kind of interesting way to study design.
Yeah, and what's great about this place is also that the forward-looking innovation that we're talking so much about is actually complemented by some interest in more traditional techniques and more traditional cultures that also get pulled in and integrated. For instance, San Diego is pretty much the yoga capital of the United States, and there's companies here that make yoga apparel, and everybody does yoga everywhere. And so we're finding traditional practices that are from millennia ago and make them more current. Another thing that is happening, there's a big renaissance in the food and beverage industry in San Diego, which is very interesting. San Diego is basically the craft beer capital of the United States. There's a craft brewery every street corner, basically. Interesting food businesses that are popping up everywhere. So there's the beauty of a studio that is focused on lifestyle is that lifestyle can cover so many different directions, and you can find something that suits your specific interest. The field trip opportunities are also great. I mean, we talked about the beautiful nature around here, which of course you're gonna hopefully enjoy also on your own. But there's plenty of industries that do interesting things here. And for instance, one that I'm particularly fond of is Taylor Guitars, because Bob Taylor was unique in thinking about the manufacturing process of his guitars and introducing basically technology where it made for a better product, but keeping the handcraft for when it was necessary. So it's a very interesting field trip where first of all, it's Taylor Guitars, one of the most prestigious brands in the world, so you get to see their factory, but also they're very good and they walk you through the whole process of creating a guitar and talking about how the different woods and different treatments of woods are instrumental in creating the sound. So a lot of interesting opportunities, a lot of other brands that are from the area. Nixon Watch is very well known in the action sports industry, Prana, a yoga brand, and so on and so forth. So we're gonna line up a few visits within the relatively short amount of time you're gonna be with us, so that you get to see and touch the things we talk about and not just hear them from our mouth.
Yeah, in the description of the course, I kind of use the language sometimes, garage to factory, and people are like, well, what does that mean? It happens all over the world, but there's very unique and typical of California, especially Southern California, that people have an entrepreneurial spirit, they have a design, innovation spirit, and they're out there, they're doing something, but their dad's an engineer or their friend, works in his industry as a chemist, and they're in the garage and they're playing with their equipment and they're changing it and altering it all the time, and then they're learning more about it. And a lot of these companies don't start from a big research and development program from a large corporation. They start with a young entrepreneur, a young designer who wants to challenge him or herself or change something. And it goes on and on. The stories, the fact that this was, the warehouse for hang time clothing, the famous surf brand Ocean Pacific was right out of a garage in Pacific Beach in my neighborhood. My surfboard, the one I'm surfing right now, is made in a garage, a shaping room right up the street from my house. Down the street from him was Larry Gordon, the famous G&S, which was the big driver of skateboarding in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. The Gordon Smith label is very famous. He started that right in his garage. He was getting a degree at chemistry at San Diego State up on the hill, and he just kept evolving it from there. I was just at a presentation with Adventure 16, which is a famous outdoor company for backpackers and hikers and people that like camping. And the actual aluminum frame backpacks that we always see Boy Scouts and Rangers was done by the grandfather of the founder of A16. I was watching his son present, and he said they started their company in a garage right up the street because no one was producing the products they needed for what was going on. Just last night I came down from 11,000 feet of being on one of the local mountains, San Jacinto, and you see everyone going up there with all their local gear to test it out. So you can be from the beach to 11,000 feet within 2 hours, which is a special place.
And as Bruce mentioned, there's a whole bunch of products and apparel and accessories that really were conceived in this particular environment and exported all over the world. So I am Italian, such as Dario, and I can tell how much we were influenced by the Californian lifestyles of during our life, even if we hadn't planned to come and live in California.
Oh,
actually.
I did.
Well, I didn't. So, but for those of you who haven't been there, also a tour on the built environments, you see these breweries, you see the restaurants, you see the hospitality sectors, more in the interior side or architecture side of it, and you will get this particular atmosphere that is different, slightly different in all the places along the coast. But there is also a very strong aspect of this character of the place, of this sense of the place, of this identity of the place. And that somehow has been exported also from the film and movie industry, as you well know, from Los Angeles all over the world. So I think it's a very good mix and opportunities, as Dario was mentioning, for design and designers trying to really express and understand how to create a concept in one of these areas by feeling all these aspects of the design together is going to be the peculiar and the cultural aspects, humanistic, scientific, geographic, all together is going to be a really unique opportunity.
Yeah, it's good. We look at what we call the ripple effect. So what happens when you put a design out there? Whether it's a product or a space, there's a ripple effect that emanates, and it goes far and beyond, especially when you have places like California where you have all of the film and the cinematography of Los Angeles, is only an hour and a half away, and their ability to produce these images and cast it and broadcast them worldwide.
So you're gonna work with this too, basically, and we will have a whole series of guests, and again, field trips, and myself and other faculty members will help during the project phases, but basically the faculty, your reference faculty, will be those two.
Yeah, we're putting together for all of our students a locals only panel. It only seemed appropriate for California by Design. We're going to bring in local designers, local owners of businesses, entrepreneurs, some of them from larger brands that you're aware of, and some of them that started out is what I was talking about, literally in their garage. There's all kinds of powerful designers in San Diego that are creating successful products and brands.
I should mention, for those that are not familiar with California, that people don't keep their cars in the garage here. That's why there's so much that can happen there. So the garage, as we know it, it's for the car, but in California it's different. It's a it's a not better defined space to do stuff. So that's why so much stuff happens in garages here. And actually, as Bruce was talking, I remember that I worked for many years side by side with an engineer, and I have a passion, or I guess I had a passion for skateboarding. And I discovered that this engineer I was working with is the person who brought urethane to skateboarding. So that's the wheel technology that changed skateboarding and turned it into the modern activity it is today. So another example of someone that, you know, out of passion and drive, they just started experimenting with things to make things better for something they were passionate about.
I think I thought for me growing up, it just seemed natural. I didn't realize that not everyone's, you know, father was in the garage designing and building and tinkering on things, but my father was a machinist by trade, and he specifically worked with metals. And most of the time for the military industrial complex, making things that, you know, probably military, you know, working on weapons. But he was able to take that understanding of metals and look at his sons who were interested in skateboarding when it was up and coming, and people, there wasn't an industry back then. So if you wanted to skateboard, you had to kind of make your own. So most people were making them out of wood, and my father, his natural material was metal. So my dad was in the garage machining aluminum or aluminium, depending on where you are in the world, and making these metal skateboards, and other fathers were doing it as well in different parts. And so here we are. I was part of this innovation train, and then later on, he met someone that worked with plastics, and they were doing them with different flexes, and that became part of what the industry is doing. And so that's you know, part of how I grew up was that's just what you do. As Dario said, you go in the garage and you find someone,
start breaking and fixing stuff.
But it's not just this iterative. The thing that's so
We
unique.
will provide the garage. No,
Yeah.
just kidding.
The thing that makes it so unique, it's not just iterative or what the designers here are teaching me about prototyping. It's that these people had a specific knowledge of a material or a specific background in certain science, like chemistry. So it didn't happen all by accident. The military-industrial complex has all these employees working in different fields. They're working on rebuilding ships or designing airplanes, but they also like to go and enjoy the landscape of California. They surf, they hang glide, they skate, they bike, and so they apply what they learn, their materiality and their engineering and their design skills. They apply them to these products that are oftentimes for play.
It's not just Apple
No.
that was born in a garage.
No.
or HP. HP
Or
was also
HP in the
Yeah.
garage. So not just the big famous ones, California
So-
ones.
When we started working on this class, I was asking the question, like, you know, innovation happens all over the world, but why is California unique? And I think this class is designed to kind of uncover that. You know, I have my own hypothesis of how it happened, but there's just some spirit of in the U.S. of going out west and going to California, and it's such a vast, large state, diverse landscape that people come out here, and it just, the innovation's in the air.
Maybe it's just because there was nowhere further west to go.
Yeah,
So it's like,
yeah.
well, now we need to come up with
We
something.
ran into the Pacific Ocean.
Why? Okay,
You
so
want to put up the questions?
yeah, maybe it's time to open up to questions. Otherwise, we can speak for hours. And
Well, all right, I guess that's my cue. There I am. Hey, everybody, Teresa here again. And so we did get a couple of questions so
Yes.
far, which I'll read out loud. The first one is this course, and please keep the questions coming. Is this course geared towards a specific type of designer, or is it open to all types of designers? Great question.
It's open to all types of designer, and hopefully, actually, whatever type of designer you are, coming here, you'll develop an interest for another type of design, because we believe that designers grow a lot when they start going across the silos, and we're not big fans of the hyper specialization in design. We think that whole design has a foundational shared mindset that you can grow and exercise in any one of the different specific disciplines. Therefore, being exposed to the other ones can only help. So no, it's not geared to a specific kind of designer. Ideally, you get the most out of it if you're a little adventurous and you would like to try, you know, maybe facing other design challenges that you're not normally used to.
Hopefully it opens your mind up to this kind of idea that, for me, coming from the integrative studies background and all the other disciplines, bringing in, you know, humanities and sciences, and trying to figure out how that helps a designer think is that design is the study of everything. There's nothing that you learn in your education that can't be applied at some time.
Yeah.
So it's to teach and get people to see that connection so they're open to realize that they don't want to design from just inside one small area, that you keep your mind open.
The design problems we will give you will lead towards, of course, media design, of communication, branding, branded experiences, retail design or environment, interior architecture and design can explore interior issues. Product design, of course, can explore a lot of several issues related to the product. So we're not gearing towards a specific part, but we will give a problem to allow all these different disciplines to express themselves on the next stage, or to open up the design to the next discipline within the program.
Okay, good. I think that answers that question pretty well. The second one is a little change of subject here. If I'm going to attend and I'm not from San Diego, is there a place that you'd recommend I stay?
Well, okay.
Airbnb?
So I assume the question means in which area does it make most sense to stay. So if you don't have transportation, I recommend being close to school, mostly because, like Ellen was saying, this is kind of a hot area. There's a lot to do within, and also from here you can get public transportation to some to most other interest areas. If you are all about the beach, you might want to stay at the beach and then commute to school in the morning. That's really, I think those are the two choices in the end.
Yeah, the closest beaches that would give you that kind of California feel lifestyle for a more kind of 60s, 70s kind of time of the past California experience, you stay at Ocean Beach. You want to be around kind of the young, really fun summer pictures you see on the internet of long boardwalks and all kinds of little boutiques and shops and cafes, probably Pacific Beach or Mission Beach. But there is direct buses, but there's not. You still got to kind of take that. And you can take a Lyft or an Uber, but it's not, it's a little bit expensive. You do that every day.
Yeah.
We can always, in enrollment, we can always provide you with the school's address again, just to help you find a location that's within a good radius. Now, we had just answered the question if the course was geared towards specific types of designers, and we just got a great question, can someone without a design background attend?
Okay, that's a very good. So
that's a good one.
This question is what makes our life harder, of course, because obviously in this kind of program, we can't predict the level of the skill level that will come. So we do our best to make it accessible to everybody. So the thing is, we create the context. Of course, it's going to be up to you to define how your challenge suits you. And if you are completely new to design, we'll give you something to get started. So yes, you can come even if you know nothing about design. Depending on where you are in your design growth, we'll try to craft the best possible experience for you.
And if you don't know anything about design, you're going to probably want to, after taking the course, be around designers or design something on your own or learn more about it.
If you know nothing about design, so far your life hasn't been as good as it could be.
Very true. Well, another question was who can register for this course? And the second part of that would be, do you need to submit a portfolio? So did we talk about registration requirements yet? Will you be reviewing portfolios or what?
No. Okay, so again, there are two different typologies of students that we accept in this course. So the first 2 weeks are specifically meant to cover the wide, the breadth of the program, and so going more into the thematics and the study, the field, the research, the experience on ground, and some conceptualization work, some concepts, ideas. We don't necessarily ask for non-degree seeking students for a portfolio. I would recommend you to reach out to Teresa for what the registration requirements are. Of course, if you have a portfolio ready, or that's very much welcome and appreciated, because that helps us in structuring the class and the groups and the teams, and really set the tone for the brief. So it's very welcome, not necessarily a requirement to get accepted in the program. For degree-seeking students, is a different issues. They go accepted into the program according to their student life here. So if it's for credit, we have to evaluate the TOCs.
So I guess that question might have been best answered by me. Sorry to put you on the spot there. If you do have some questions about how to apply, whether as a full-time student in the fall, or if you have any trouble or just simply need the steps to apply just for the summer program, that is my area of expertise. So feel free to call me directly. Again, my name is Teresa. I'm an enrollment specialist, and my number is 619-684-8883. Oh, there I am. Okay, great. We did have a couple other questions, though, for you. I think someone was looking for, well, this was asked, what kinds of field trips will be included, but what kinds of projects will they work on as related to those trips?
It's a little early to tell, because it will be driven by, the conversation will help us identify your projects. So it's going to go basically in 3 steps. The first step is when you learn, and you learn about the context of this California landscape that we've been talking about. Then, based on what you learn, we're going to have these activities that will help you identify opportunities and generate ideas. And based on that, because we have this breadth of skill levels and different specific disciplines, it's kind of hard to predict upfront what the nature of the project will be. It will be driven by your own angle on the problems that we identify. So if you're coming at it from a product design background, for instance, and you have a heavy focus on digital products, obviously your project is going to be most likely an app or something that is related to that. If you are all about tinkering with your hands and you like say skateboarding, maybe you're going to be designing some accessory for a skateboarder. Or if you like media design and you're passionate about food, maybe you'll design a new brand. So it could go in a number of different directions. We like to keep it open because, again, it makes for a more exciting and more interesting class for everybody, and you get exposed to a much bigger variety of different design activities, so it will enrich your peers a lot more.
Yeah, and also by having the students presenting and sharing their work and their own design process, by having diverse projects that students are working on, you're teaching your peers, you're teaching the other students about how to look at design from a different discipline. So when you have a room with people, Elena's got product designers and media designers and interior architects, where they can all be working on a similar topic but responding differently.
One example of a project that happened, for instance, in another quarter of the school was designing a retail experience for one famous surfing brand. This is a very specific project that goes in the area of interior architecture and design, and it's similar to other projects that we developed in other quarters of the program. And it's a typical project that addresses, in this case, specifically interior architecture, but has a lot to do with the California culture we're talking about, and how to make a brand be visible in a specific space. So it's all about experience design as well, right? So what we expect from this experience is to go even better into this direction, so that, for instance, if this is the case, interior architecture and design students can really experience what an interior for a retail shop is by understanding much more what the brand and the lifestyle is all about. So this is, and how maybe to design specific aspects of the communication together with within the space. So this is the kind of experience that we expect from this.
That was a great example, because the
studio.
retail space for a surf company is all designed to basically house and show off product design. So the understanding, I remember watching the students talk to each other, the understanding of product helps you understand, you know, how to showcase that.
Now you can easily imagine that given the relatively short time, the projects are not going to be as deep as, you know, the project that Ellen was talking about was a quarter-long studio project. It was, you know, it was a heavy project. Obviously, in 2 weeks we need to include, you know, field trips, lecture, exposing you to all these different qualities of the California scene that we want you to become familiar with, and do a project. So you can imagine that the project time is going to be relatively constrained, but the overall experience should be, you know, highly enriching.
Elena, can we bring back the discount page for a moment there? If possible. Our last question so far has been, are there scholarships or discounts available? So this ought to answer it, but if anyone would like to present that.
Well, this is what I can say here is that specifically for American students, I don't know if our participants are calling or are online connected from somewhere else in the world. I hope so. So there are a lot of organizations that are international and also national that you know, students belong to or professionals belong to. And so for all these specific organizations such as IAGA for graphic design, or IIDA and ISID for interior design, or Industrial Design Society of America for industrial design, sorry, for the other two was interior design, or also UX or San Diego, all the local networks and teams and organizations connecting experienced designers, industrial designers, interior designers, for all these organizations. So if you are part of any kind of organizations of design or design related, you get this discount of 50% discount.
15.
15. 15, I said.
Very good. We had one last question. You had answered what types of projects the students were working on. Someone was wondering just the types of skills that you would be working on.
Again, we will really, in the first 2 weeks that we presented today, we will adapt the project complexity and intensity and the expectations to the different skills of the participants, in order to allow everybody to experience design in this fashion at the level that is reasonable. For degree-seeking students, this is a different matter, because they, in order to get degrees, they will have to develop in the following 3 weeks the project in order to achieve the expected learning outcomes according to the institutional criteria. So that's a different story. But for the 2 weeks of the summer course, we're really gonna explore the projects at the different skill levels.
Fantastic. Well, that covers all of our questions. If you have any others, my info is right there again, so contact me directly for anything. And if it can be better answered by one of these folks here, we will surely pass that along. Again, this is Teresa. Thanks for joining us. I believe that concludes this session. Have a great day.
Thanks, guys.
Wow, bye-bye. See you in California.